What's up, people? This video is a major departure from what you usually see from me. It's not model building. I'm over here at my mom and dad's house. Unfortunately, October of last year, I lost my dad. He had a long fight with cancer, and he fought that thing tooth and nail. He lived 11 years with it, and unfortunately, he lost that fight in October. So me and my brother are down here, like we're cleaning up stuff and things like that. And this here, it's a briefcase that I remember very, very well from when my dad worked at the Federal Reserve up in New York. And it's still in his closet, and I open it up and it's just loaded with maps and stuff like that. It's pretty wild. He was a AAA member, and this bag contains maps and stuff. And this triptychs of his last trip when he actually drove up to see me and then drive on up to where my brother lives. So this was the very last time he ever went on a road trip. That was way back in 2010. And so I found that I got a kick out of that. So I'm keeping that. Here's a map. He probably bought this. He probably bought this when he moved out onto Long Island. This is the town I lived in on Long Island. It was Huntington. I lived in Huntington Station. They list that on here. No, they only listed as South Huntington. But we lived in. Our zip code was Huntington Station. Okay. We did have the same zip code as Dix Hills, which you sure as hell don't want to walk or even ride a bike to Dix Hills. That's how far away it was. And this here, the only time he ever used this, it seems, is when he took the road trip out to me and my brother. He started out on May 21st and arrived home, I guess, on June 8th, 2010. And he wrote down everything and figured out what his mileage was and stuff like that. And so the total miles of the trip was 1,958.1 miles. He figured it all out. He wrote down everything, man. He kept records of everything. So anyway, I wanted to show you that. There's a whole bunch of things in here just left over. I'm gonna be throwing a lot of this into the recycle bin, but I mean, hell, he's lived here. This bank doesn't exist anymore. That's part of Bank of America. Who knows what happened to Guaranteed Bank and Trust Company? Just a whole bunch of stuff, man. It is just so cool. This is one of the older triptychs where you flip it up like that. It's pretty damn cool, but like I said, my dad friggin' saved everything. So let me put this off to the side here. So, anyway, this was my dad's workbench. My dad, he built so much stuff, man. So much stuff. He loved flying. He was part of a line flying club. Loved airplanes. And you can tell with all his toolboxes here, he did a lot of building. Scroll saw, band saw, belt sander. All these tubes right here, all of them are fishing rod blanks. He built fishing rods. He built beautiful fishing rods. He loved fly fishing. When I was a little kid, he would take me saltwater fishing. Then he discovered fly fishing, and he just fell in love with that. I mean, his rods were gorgeous. Bamboo rods, the windings and stuff. Like over here, this is a Kenmore sewing machine motor and foot control, and he would use this for his windings. Here's like right here, rod wrapping tool motor. And over here, let me move this recycle bin out of the way. I'm sorry, guys, but you always knew I never had the top quality videos here. this drawer down here. You know, this is what he rolled his rods on, and when the epoxy was drying, this motor right here is off an old rotisserie that he and my mom got as a wedding gift. Never used it, but he took that motor out and made himself a beautiful motor to just roll the rod while the epoxy would dry on the windings. There's so much stuff, man. This yardstick is retractable and extendable. But that was pretty cool. Oh, look at this, man, right here. All this craft nails. Saved everything. All these were baby foods, probably from some friends of his. Maybe not, because right here you get 6 large jars of baby food for 99 cents, and they actually use the old ink stamp on there. So maybe that was from when I was a kid. Oh, this, man. I used to love codfish cakes when I was a kid. Right here.
I love Granger. You know why?
This is from Canada. What's up, bro?
Granger's got your back.
Alright.
I'm not gonna mess up your movie if I take this.
Nope, not at all. My videos are ratchet as hell, buddy. Used to come in a wood box. My mom used to make codfish cakes. Here's another one right here from where he was from. Salted codfish, Boston, Massachusetts. And right around the corner from where my dad worked in Manhattan was a cigar shop, so he would always get cigar boxes from there, and one of his co-workers smoked cigars, so he would always give my dad the cigar boxes.
I'm calling you from my yacht.
And old ass tools. It's made in the United States. What company is it? The Maxon Saw and Manufacturing Company in Chicago, Illinois. This old ass wooden handle. A lot of these tools made in USA. Then, you know, he would stick things like this. Is a whole bunch of wall anchors. Ancient, 69 cents, 47 flesh bandages. Curad, and who made it? The Curity Company, which was part of the Kendall, the Bauer and Black division. Old Planters Nuts, when it was Planters Nuts. Right here, manufactured by Planters in Suffolk, Virginia, the division of Standard Brands. This is a long defunct supermarket company. I grew up on Long Island, so that's the only place I knew where Hills was. I'm sure they were in the metropolitan New York area. You get over here, I get a kick out of this. How old this Black & Decker is. This thing, you have to oil it. It's all metal. Back there, you got an old ass Craftsman pad sander. Huge. This old Rockwell. Rockwell is part of Positech. Positive Technologies. They're the same company that makes Works. And I can't say anything good or bad about them. Just stay away from their electric mowers. And he just kept so much stuff, man. This is a Heller, made in USA, 20-ounce hammer. Oh, I remember this thing. You see that right there? I'm sure that's from me. Just smashing things as a little kid. I used to love breaking rocks with it. Don't ask me why. But I also remember taking whole boxes of caps for the cap gun and just smashing the entire thing. He took that knife away from me because I cut my fingertip. This ain't anything new. This is an Echo. Might be made in the USA, I don't know. This ice pick, I love this. Holler Ice Manufacturing, Boston Road, Bronx, New York City, Fairbanks, 2814. Oh man, you can tell this knife has been used a lot. Don't know if that's a linoleum knife or a gutting knife. I really don't know. I just remember these things my entire life. Almost everything he had for the longest time he would make if he needed it. He built it, man. There's a bunch of old power tools in this thing too, I believe. Oh no, yeah. This is a skill saw in here too, I remember that. But the rest of it's all fairly new. But I just wanted to give you, oh wait, and these have been hanging up for the longest time. But my dad also used to build airplanes. Now when he moved down here, he didn't get to go trout fishing all that much. Because when he would go trout fishing, he would go out west into remote areas to do his fishing. They would camp out there for a couple of weeks. But my dad was one hell of a craftsman. All that stuff you see over here, let me bring you around. So yeah, all this is for his fly tying. You got furs in here and stuff. All this stuff is all fishing gear, more fishing gear. And yeah, fly boxes, fly lines, more fishing gear. Then up here is the stuff for his airplanes. And oh, there you go. Look at this. More and more fishing stuff. He's one hell of a fisherman, I'm telling you guys. Well, that was it. Now I just wanted to share some of this stuff with you because it is it's fun. It's bittersweet going through all this stuff. Looking at his pictures or something else, the adventures he'd go on just to go fishing. So freaking cool. Anyway guys, thank you for taking the time to look at this. When I get back home, maybe I'll I have stuff on the bench to start with car building. Just obviously you can see why I really haven't been doing it much, because you know my dad had been declining really bad over the course of last year. So you guys, you take it easy. You'll have a good one.